It's set up. It's set up good.
All right, it is 6 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. As you are able, if you would please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance with us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you for that. Could I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
So moved.
Support.
All right, so I have a motion by Rich and support by Rachel. I do have a request to amend the agenda slightly, and that is to swap number 2 and 3, so move board spotlight ahead of public comment. If I could get a motion to amend the agenda in that way?
Motion approved.
All right, so I got Jason making that motion. Is that good? And Sabrina supporting that?
Yep.
All right. Any comments on that motion to amend that agenda that way? All right, hearing none, I'll call for the roll on that real quick. Danette? Sabrina?
Aye.
Rachel?
Aye.
Mr. Fish?
Aye.
Mr. Vance?
Yay.
And Jason?
Yay.
And I'm an aye, all right. So the agenda is amended. So that takes us back to our main motion to approve the agenda that we have a motion and a second on. Is there any discussion on the agenda as amended? All right, hearing none, I'll call for the roll on approving the amended agenda. Mr. Vance?
Yay.
Danette?
Aye.
Jason?
Yay.
Mr. Fish?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Rachel?
Aye.
And I am an aye. All right, motion approved. So that means our agenda is adopted. So that takes us right to Board Spotlight. So our first item on Board Spotlight is for our financial audit report with UHY.
Hi,
Good evening.
good evening. We're good? Yeah. I'm Ryan Howell. I'm from UHY, I'm the lead auditor on the engagement, the last 10-plus years, probably. So I was just going to briefly recap the financial report, and if anybody has questions, feel free to stop me, but I'll kind of flip to where the highlights are and, and go over from there. So first thing I always like to go over is page 1 of the report, which is our independent auditor's report. So the very first section is the opinion section. The second paragraph there states, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects. And then at the bottom of that paragraph, in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States. That's an unqualified or unmodified opinion. That's the cleanest opinion we can give. So that's great. Means basically your financial statements are fairly presented. So. Then the section after that I typically skip over is the management discussion and analysis section. That's a narrative format, so if you were just wanted to read about the audit, that's a good way. It talks about definitions and the different sections of the report. But we're going to just skip ahead to page 18 and 19. So the first column in both of these pages is the general fund column. So on page 19, the first column, the third number from the bottom is your net change in fund balance of the general fund. And you increased your fund balance by $212,097, which brings your fund balance to $31,323. So one thing we always look at is like a gauge of like, hey, how much is that a good fund balance or not a good fund balance? So a good way to look at that is take that fund balance divided by your expenditures. And if you're between 15 and 20% or above, you're usually, from a cash flow standpoint, in pretty good shape. So you guys are at 21 or 23.19% this year. So so that tells me, I think you guys stopped, like, for a while there, you guys stopped borrowing from state aid. You know, that gives you more opportunities because you have a little bit more fund balance just from a cash flow perspective throughout the year. Because there are some dips and like funding, you know, when you get paid out on state aid. But one thing I did want to point out, so even though we did go up from the prior year from like 21.25%, you guys did budget quite a big shortfall this 25-26 fiscal year of about 1.5 million. So if that gets factored in, all of a sudden your fund balance is more like the 16% mark. So that's something to keep an eye on. And this year in particular, I've been seeing some big swings both ways. We had a lot of ESSER funding. A lot of it was one-time funding from federal sources. So a lot of positions were added over the last couple of years. And so that's been a challenge for a lot of districts because there's a lot of positions they don't want to get rid of. But that's something to think about because, you know, I just saw that large, you know, projected loss next year. So that's something just keep an eye on, project out and forecast the next couple of years and how that looks from a, and it's tough because I think the funding, I mean, they don't tell you what you're going to get till you're already a quarter of the way through your fiscal year or more sometimes. So that's a challenge as well. So, and they just change it. They keep moving the target on you guys. So just something to kind of think about and be cognizant of going forward. You guys are working on budgets and budget amendments too. But so as of right now, though, you guys are in a pretty good fund balance standpoint. So. And then, so that's really the general fund. The big swings there, you know, like we talked about, local sources went up, taxable values seem to be going up, and your interest rates go up. So the local sources on the revenue side went up a little bit. State and federal sources both went down. Federal went down quite a bit from the previous year. A lot of that had to do with that ESSER funding that I was talking about. I think over $1 million it decreased from the prior year. So, and your other transactions from a revenue standpoint are kind of holding strong. So, so those are the highlights on the general fund. And then the next column over is the other non-major governmental funds. So that's made up of a bunch of smaller funds. So if you flip to the very last page of this report, it gives a breakdown of that column by fund. So it's page 58. So this is the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances for all the other funds. So the first section there are your special revenue funds. So the first column, food service fund, you guys had a decrease of $278,634, which brings your fund balance down to $310,509. One thing that was a common occurrence is a lot of these, the federal funding was increased so much the last couple of years. A lot of districts' fund balances went over the allotted threshold. So typically you have to have a 90-day cash reserve or less. So so you guys had like a spend down plan last year because you guys had too much fund balance. So you guys did buy some capital purchases this past year. So you guys are back in compliance now. So that's good.
Sorry if I can
Yeah.
just interrupt. If I'm not mistaken, we've actually had a spend down plan for the last several years.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So has that been fairly common across the state or not?
It has been, yeah,
Has it?
yeah.
Okay.
As soon as they switched to like all free meals, it seemed like that flipped for most districts. And yeah, so the last few years, it used to be we have to do like a material weakness or significant deficiency finding on that. And then basically they finally realized like, hey, we can't do anything, the districts can't do anything about it. Their spending is as much as they can in the food service department, because even capital outlay purchases, we have to get them pre-approved by the state to be able to do something like that. Or if you want to remodel a kitchen, like they don't just let you spend it, you know, any way you want. So,
Right.
so any large purchases like that have to get prior approval. So it's hard to spend that money. And but the hard part is you only got 90-day cash reserve. So it's easy to kind of flip back and be
Right.
struggling in that food service fund. So that'll be a fund to keep an eye on. So you guys are kind of back in compliance. But once we back out those capital outlay expenditures, where are you guys gonna land? Are you gonna still show a decrease? And then of that decrease, you did, so one thing the state allows you to do is you can transfer over some money from the food service fund to help cover some indirect costs. Like, you have a lot of, like, central office staffing and, trash, stuff like that, that they share with the rest of the districts. So they allow you to transfer a certain rate over there. So you guys were able to transfer 60,000 back to the general fund to help fund some of those indirect costs that are incurred over there. So that fund's in good shape, but again, keep an eye on it. Community Rec Fund increased slightly, 5,163. You have 31,383 in there. Not a ton of activity in that fund. And then the School Activity Fund. So this is the old, all the student accounts, and it's all lumped in together. You got all the sport accounts in there. So this one is, you expect it to be around a break even every year. I mean, if it does flip flop, it's usually because there's one big, like, class trip or, big spending item or a big fundraiser going the other way. So this one kind of landed how I expected it, a small decrease of $1,209. So between all those different accounts, you guys have $214,806. So that fund looks good. Debt Service Fund had a small increase, $2,190, brings your fund balance to $47,730. That one is funded by tax revenues to pay basically your bond payments. So that one also should be about a break even each year. Flip-flops a little bit each year. And then the final fund there is your Capital Projects Fund. So you guys typically transfer money over there and save it for larger projects. So you guys transfer 50,000 over there this year and spent about 45,000 this past year. So you have a small increase of 6,000, and you have 127,925 left in that fund for fund balance for future capital projects. So that's kind of all I wanted to touch on the financial statement part of it. A couple things letter-wise that we report to the state. So we have, budgeting. The food service budget was over slightly. And then the other budget that was over was the student activity fund. And that one, I have seen over half of my districts have had problems with budgeting in that fund. And the challenge there, I was worked with Kim on this, is how do we prevent this going forward? You guys account for it. So the accounting department actually accounts for it all year long by class account. So they have how much does football have? How much does wrestling have? How much does class of 2026 have? And it's not treated like a normal financial statement like you guys are seeing now. It's just trying to track how much of this cash is each group's. So we've implemented some controls, I think, and some processes where she's going to have better data and going to be able to amend that budget. But that's a very common one because no one tracks the increases and decreases of each individual account throughout the year. And then when you have to do a budget amendment, you got to add them all up. All the increases are your revenues, all the decreases are your expenses. How it's accounted for year round at every single school district is not how it's reported or budgeted for. So that one, you guys were over budget on as well, but that one, again, I think we have processes in place where that one won't be an issue going forward. And then the general fund, you guys did a really good job. There's no overages, and that's the main one people are paying attention to is the general fund budget, and that one did look good. So. And then I also commented on this. This one, it's kind of a nitpicky comment on my end. Limited internal controls over decentralized cash collections. And what that is anytime you have cash involved, I like to see more processes in place. So back to those student activity accounts, you have a bunch of different people collecting, fundraising, spending money. Now, all the checks are written out of the central office, but it's that collection side. So I think we got some good controls added since we came and did the audit as well, where there's checks and balances in place, who the person in charge of each account is, and they're checking and making sure the central office, they all have the same basically account, almost keeping like a check register for each of the funds. So I think that used to be we used to do that a long time ago. It was a manual system, and then a lot of places have gotten away from it. I think it's a good habit to get back into. So, you know, the football team knows how much they have and how much they can spend. It just gives everybody a little bit more accountability and to know where they're at. So that's more of a nitpicky one I like to throw in every once in a while and talk to the districts and work on trying to strengthen that. So I probably had that in there a few years ago, and I just kind of resurrected it this year because because we were talking about the budget in that fund as well. So, and then the last one, controls over IT. That's just more of a general recommendation. There's a lot of stuff going out there. There are a lot of people trying to steal people's data, and there's ransomware attacks. So it's just more hey, keep an eye on your IT environment and make sure everybody's up to speed on everything. And you guys do have a pretty good. I've always had a good experience here, and you guys are locked down pretty tight. Usually have to get a hold of the IT person to even be able to hook up to the internet proper, so we can access our data. But again, that's just kind of a general recommendation. And that's all I had.
All right, do we have any questions? I have one for you.
Go for it.
And this actually comes from a question that we got a few months ago. And that's really about the fund balance. What is your recommendation for a target fund balance range in a district like ours where we do not have any type of sinking fund?
Yeah, that's tricky because you guys, that's why you really need that capital projects fund, and you guys have kind of funded that.
Mm-hmm.
But 50,000 in a district this size for your facility doesn't go very far. I mean, you guys have
We're
had
spending 45 of it every year.
Yeah,
Or
oh yeah.
Last year, yeah.
At least. And then you guys have had some major roof repairs over the years too, because you guys used to transfer over 200 to 300,000 every year, and you guys have backed way off of that. So that is a challenge. I would say if still kind of set some money aside and look at those larger infrastructure projects that are coming in the next few years, and I'd try to fund that. I mean, if you guys can't get a sinking fund to pass, or a new bond issue for new facilities or new, improvements, I definitely would, and maybe you need to contract like an engineer or a specialist that can come in and project out what those costs might be, because, just kind of looking at you really want to be on that top end of that 15 to 20%. I feel like after that, it's easy to eat up your fund balance,
Yep.
Because especially a few $100,000 at a time. I mean, there's some large repairs that happen. I mean, you guys have been doing a lot of work, like sealing parking lots, and all that stuff adds up.
Yeah.
50 to 100,000.
We have some
here
big
and there.
expenditures coming
Yeah.
that we can't put off. We have to have them done, so.
So I like the use of that building and site fund because it kind of sets your money aside, commits it, says, hey, we're going to use this for these capital projects, and you guys could even go a step further and say, hey, these are the exact capital projects that we have this money set aside for, especially if you got good estimates of what the cost might be. And then it might take a couple years to fund it properly,
Right.
But those sinking funds are a great resource if you can get it to pass. It helps the districts out a ton. I mean, with these ongoing repairs and improvements needed.
Yep.
So,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, no problem.
Any other questions at all?
No, good job. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, no, hey,
Thank
and
you.
thank you, Kim and Kevin. They do a great job. We're in there. There's 4 or 5 of us, and we hit them hard for about 4 days, and kind of turn their lives upside down. So I do appreciate it. They're a pleasure to work with. Some people they crack, but they didn't. So
We
they
tried to stay out of Kim's way during that time,
did.
so.
It's good.
so,
Thank you.
Thank you. And Kim, just thank you for all the work that you do on our finances as well, so much appreciated. All right, so we do have another board spotlight, and that is Mr. Wright on food service. Pretty timely, I'd say, as we just talked about the food service fund, and I know that you've been doing a lot of work to improve the options for the district. So.
Yeah, so tonight I'm just go over the few explanations as to why we switched from Cisco to GFS. Just thank you for giving me the chance to share updates for the food service program. So behind every meal is a supply chain who we partner with to get our food. Makes a big difference, not only cost, but in reliability, nutrition, and student experience. This is why we transitioned from Cisco to GFS. One of the biggest, there's a few topics that I have on here. One of the biggest one would be reliability and service. When we're feeding this many students every day, we need to have reliable communicate, not even just communication with our reps, but it goes beyond that. GFS has a stronger track record with K through 12 districts. This provides consistency with delivery and dedicated representative and support team who understands the ever-moving target of the USDA requirements. With that, GFS has been ahead of the game. So far, they have we have to have nutrition labels and we have to have documentation stating that it has meets the minimum requirements per item. Like for pizza slices that we have regularly, that has to meet the 2 meat or meat alternative, 2 ounces of meat alternative, 2 ounces of grain, and and with that also incorporates like a 1/4 cup of vegetables with the sauce. And that is all displayed for me in a spreadsheet on the GFS website that's housed. Also along with like allergy and nutritional information. So if we have a student who is just curious about something, they can talk to any of our food service workers, and if they don't know the answer, they can just come directly to me, and I can help them find it and direct them to the right way. We do have some nuance allergies kind of a way, so we have got some celiacs and a few other things, nothing too crazy there. It just helps with comfortability and peace of mind when serving the students. There have been some, like not cross-contamination issues, but some items won't be labeled properly, so then we have to do more digging and go to the manufacturer website and/or just make phone calls. That's something that I'd still continue to do with GFS. It was more so with Cisco, but now that we switched to GFS, the rep themselves they know. Everything's changing, the requirements change. For instance, we're going through with like the dye changes, how red dye 40 and a few other them are gonna you'll see slowly go away, and they'll go to natural food coloring dye just from food itself. So no more like crushed beetles and et cetera, or bonito flakes to get red food coloring. So there's be less allergies with that as well. And then this also just guarantees for like reliability that what we order, we get here in a timely manner, and it's effective, and our students get the meal that they expect. And the next topic would be cost and value. So we have commodity dollars that we can use, and through GFS, there's a plethora of options. Like there's 1,000 to 1 basically from Cisco. So for Chicken Nugget Day, those chicken nuggets are going to most likely change throughout the year, just based on the commodity dollars and what's available. So some of the students, you'd think they wouldn't notice the difference between a chicken nugget, but they do.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
I've given them the ones they don't like enough to kind of understand that. We get that. I let them know that it's just a thing. We still have to make sure that it meets the USDA requirements. So I can't just give them a Tyson chicken nugget that you would buy at Meijer or a family fair. Unfortunately, I'd like to do that, but we can't. That our hands are bind on that part. And when it comes to cost, GFS may be higher in some aspects, but typically they're going to be price point a lot lower. They have more accounts with schools, and like Detroit Public Schools, they have like 100,000 students. Grand Rapids Public School has like 35,000 students that they serve every day, and we have about 1,400. So they're used to the demand and the volume, and they understand that we have to not stretch the dollars. We have to use them where they count, and we have to make sure that the students are still receiving a palatable meal, and that it looks appealing. Because sometimes the food that I do see online doesn't really look the greatest, but the students are still enjoying it. And our hands again are kind of just tied about what we can and can't do when it comes to the students' food. And then for the value, it's just they do value the students. They are at the forefront of it. They do talk to all the reps. They have a bunch of food shows. and they not only have that food show, but there's a dedicated K through 12. If anybody's ever had the experience to go to the GFS food show, there is a whole section dedicated through K through 12. So instead of you going to a random vendor and saying, hey, I'm with such and such school, your rep just goes, hey, before you do all that, just go to the K through 12 section, see what's new. With that, everything is changing. So we're getting there, and the students will see things shift. For instance, last week for Halloween, a couple weeks ago, we did have like spooky treats. There was a juice box that's kind of like a slushie that had was 100% real fruit inside there, along with fruit juice as a slushie. It was called like a Boo Cup. And then we also, going into other holidays, I pre-ordered items that the students can get during the holiday season. Let it be like a turkey pretzel or a pumpkin pretzel, or let it be one of the sidekicks that will be to the USDA standards. We can, and then just in short for the cost and value part, we can do more with the same budget, which means healthier meals and more variety for the students without increasing the cost in the district. With that, we're trying to offer more things for offer versus serve, not just the same items that we have been. And the high school and middle school are more susceptible to seeing that, just because they're not going to freeze at options, where the younger ones, when it comes to lunchtime, breakfast, they're in and out. But when it comes to lunch, if we give them an option, it kind of stops them in their tracks. So we've been trying to make sure that keeps the steady process, because they get a limited time to eat, and they do enjoy eating. And then we have, and then just the menu supporting too as well, menu nutrition supporting. Like I said previously, GFS is committed to K through 12 nutrition, and they have an entire division dedicated to school meals, and they provide resources like menu planning tools, recipe development, and staffing training. Staff training would be like local serve safe, or if there's a new, like how the sugar requirement is going to reduce by 25% over the next couple of years, and same thing with sodium intakes. Once those fully transition, then GFS will send out like a little blurb, and then I can either send my team to a training event, or I can kind of just host one myself with my team, and knock everything out that way. And then their product lines are tested with students, which means the food they offer are not only USDA compatible, but the students will eat it. They have a lot of events. There's a couple of them that go around. There's like a big place in Texas that like will charbroil stuff. There's a like open pit. We couldn't get like a beef riblet sandwich a couple weeks ago, so we substituted for pulled pork, and it was kind of just a tick for tack in a way. So it's easier for me to go in there if we can't get something and we're shorted from GFS. Not only does the rep reach out, and I get like 4 or 5 emails notifying me that that we can't get said item. The rep usually personally reaches out either to my phone or a text message and just say, by the way, we ordered broccoli and cauliflower a while ago. It was unable to come in, but the rep knows that we need it for our salad bar. So she, at the time, just supplemented something else that was broccoli and cauliflower, different cut, but still, unless the same thing. And they didn't just leave us hanging. They tried their hardest to make sure that I am aware that we weren't receiving that. And I did place the order in time, but that's just one of those reasonings. And then the local farm to school agent. So GFS does partner with Brown Box Commodity Goods, which are locally sourced. Most of them are going to come from Michigan. They're going to be locally sourced Brown Box items that we can get, which is just referring to the box that it comes in. Some restaurants will see those as well. You'll see Brown Box deliveries. That's not the USDA commodity stuff, but that's just what they refer to it as. And we're able to get more than fair pricing on certain fresh fruits and vegetables. And we're able to make sure that students get a fresh fruit option daily as well. Then, yes, and like I said, they have a partnership with the Michigan growers and regional suppliers, which means we can put more locally grown produce on students' trays. We do have with a local farmer too that we bring in just local apples at the moment because that's more of a commodity that we're able to easily access and use. And the students seem to love apples. I see them grabbing them every day. And talking to the students, they like to see the fresh fruit options, and I'm always surprised with how much fresher options we're able to just provide them from switching from Cisco to Gordon's. And then just in closing, just to sum it up, our switch from Cisco to GFS wasn't about choosing a new vendor. It was about strengthening the foundation of our food service program. With GFS, we now have more reliable deliveries, better value for our budget, stronger nutrition and menu support, and greater opportunities to serve local products. And then all of this just translates to a healthier, more consistent, and more enjoyable meal for our students to enjoy. And at the end of the day, that's what I'm here for, is to make sure that they are having a nutritious meal. Any questions for me?
Are you seeing that's coming down, you talked about reducing the sodium and sugar intake. Are they increasing the protein and healthier fats?
Right now, per Michigan Department of Education, the fat part, no. So they not really put a ban on like butter and stuff like that, but the fat content, they kind of want it to be super low. So the fatty content won't go up, but the protein, they'll change the formulas on how they're making items. So yes, that will go down. I'm hoping they're gonna just play around with more flavoring, so like more herbs and spices that don't have salt or anything in it. But yeah, the requirements are going down. We're already in compliance with the the sugar requirement with our breakfast cereals. If you'll see any of the students, they're not gonna know, but the Lucky Charms, instead of having like, I don't know, 15 marshmallows, now there's like 5 to 10 if we're lucky. But that's really where it goes down to, is it's heavy hit in the cereals, which is hard to let the students know. They do say it does taste different than what they have at home. We get that, and we tell them it's all right. It's got lower sugar and the dyes you're not used to.
Any other questions? What's been the feed? Did you have something?
Oh, I was thinking, yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, good job. But what has been the feedback from the students across the district that you've heard?
Hey, I know you, and I remember you, and I just let them know you went through at least 3 food service directors last year, me being the third one. A lot of it is more positivity, really more positive. I'm big on hearing what the students have to say, so I do bug them once in a while when I'm walking around, we're trying something new. I'll just ask them, like, how'd you like that? What was the difference? On Thursday, we had hot dogs. I switched to all beef hot dogs just to give it a go and see how the students like that, just because we all know what a hot dog is, and if it's all of one product, it's a little bit less on my conscience than 3 all products going into one. So the only comment we had about that was, why is it pink right here? So I just let them know, it's like we switched to all beef hot dogs. We don't really have a grill to grill them, so they're cooked in the oven. So on one side, yes, there might be like a slight pink line, but that's really it. Just talking to them. A few of the items that we've had recently changes, like some jalapeno mozzarella sticks, kind of a deal. Just really trying to give them something different. But most of all of it's positive. There's going to be negatives all the time. Just deal with those as we can. Just biggest one is chicken nuggets. It did take us about 2 months to figure out which one is the bad one and which 3 are the okay ones to serve. That was a big one, in all honesty. Mashed potato day, they love that. They do ask why we can't get that more often. It's just per state requirement. It's really only allowed to have starches once a week, and more than just potatoes count as starches. So we've got corn that counts as a starch, and then hash browns, that's a potato, that counts as a starch. And then when it comes to mashed potatoes, that also is a starch. So we're really not supposed to have more than 1 starch a week, but there's some things, if we have it this week as well for mashed potatoes and gravy, but we don't have another starch. We changed today's, today was breakfast sandwich, or what was it, French toast, sausage, and it was carrots instead of hash browns, so we can give them mashed potatoes and gravy with their chicken nuggets. So it's really just picking the battles, I guess, in a way, and
Yeah.
just figuring out, just let them, they're like, why do we get carrots today? Well, I was like, I can't give you both, so there's, now you see it on the menu. Oh, okay. It really just talking to them. They get surprised that I'm still here, and every day, they're like, it's the same battle every day with them, but they're getting used to it.
Well, I know I have heard positive feedback on the changes that you've made. I think it was, you might have had like a fettuccine Alfredo or something on a menu
Yeah.
here a while back, and my grandson was absolutely thrilled. He's like, I never thought we'd have that option. You know,
Yeah.
so,
We
So-
did bring in utensils to the high school and the middle school here, just spoons and forks. I didn't know that that means that we're rich and we have money, but that is what I've been hearing from the students every time they grab it. So just little things like that that try and just improve their dining experience. Just that, a spork is nice, but is a tad juvenile once you reach a certain age. They're not in a penitentiary, so they don't need to have a spork as they progress. Just no knives.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
well, thank you for everything that you've been
Yeah,
doing.
you're welcome.
And
Good
the
job, Mike.
improvements I know are being noticed, and thank you for being open to the feedback as well.
Yeah, you're
And
welcome.
making those changes, so I appreciate you coming and sharing this, and do this again for us if you would.
Okay.
I mean, just
Yeah.
talk to Kevin and have another,
Yeah, no, that sounds good. We can.
another board spotlight at
Yeah,
some
we can
point in
schedule
the
one.
future. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds good.
Thank you.
choice,
All
Mike.
right.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so that takes us to public comment. Do we have any public comment tonight?
Hi. I wanted to come back with what you guys gave me last week. My name's Emma. I met with a business owner, and they're willing to donate a pig for us, an animal. I also have $500 secured officially from a church that I go to, somebody at church. And I have a couple other people that are willing to give, but we just need it finalized before they want to give us anything else. And then I also did get my board put together, and I got my advisor. I planned on having a meeting, but school has gotten the best of me this week, so I've been kind of swamped. And I put together some pricing about how much each animal is gonna cost to raise. And on average, a fair lamb costs around $450 to $500. It's about $50 to $100 more than a pig would be, just because you have to pay for shearing, and the food is a little bit more expensive than a regular hog would be. And then I also have been getting feedback, finally, from a form I sent out. I learned how to get back my responses, and I have a couple of responses. I think I have like 5 or 6 that said yes, that I did not know about. And then I plan to have a meeting eventually with the whole board. It's just I gotta figure out time to do that. And I think that's everything that I've done. And then, I also put together an intent to donate. So when I can go to local businesses, I can give them a paper that I've written, and then an intent to donate sheet. It has like if you want to donate animals, your service, or your cash, and then all of your contact information to fill out. And either I'll come back by and I'll pick it up for them, or they can drop it off at the high school in the office, and I'll grab them from there. I think that's all.
Okay.
For after the meeting, you mean? I don't know, Kevin,
I think she had a rough week last week, so we were gonna meet. So, I don't know, I think probably, and when things get a little lightened up for you, why don't you sit down with Mr. D and myself? We'll cover that before
yeah,
we meet as a whole board.
yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank
Good
you.
job, Emma.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank
proud
you,
of you.
Emma. Emma, thank you for your passion on this and being willing. This is 3 months that you came back and talked to us, and it's very much appreciated. So I'm really hoping that we can get this thing up and going.
Do you have an extra copy of the intent form?
Yeah.
Thank you, gorgeous.
Thank you. All right, do we have any other public comment tonight?
I know talking about this is Laura, you know me. I know it is later on in the agenda, the building moving, but I was wondering, as support staff union president, if the movement of staff is pretty set and following the contracts. Is it going by seniority or by best qualified? Because we want to follow that. We do not want a lot of grievances. Thank you.
I agree with you. Thank you. Any other public comment tonight? All right, not hearing any other public comment. We will move on to reports. Mr. Aiken.
Well, you guys have got a copy of my report. One thing I will highlight, Christmas hay has come early in Grant. We inadvertently discovered we own an additional 40 acres out by the 120 acres on Fox Drive.
Amazing.
Can't make it up. When we did the reverter a couple months ago, we sent it into the DNR. They sent it back to us and said they weren't going to accept it because it wasn't done correctly. And, well, we found out, we wanted to argue with them and say, no, we don't own that. So through a process of elimination, Mr. Thorne went to White Cloud. I was on the phone with the state. We found out we do own that 40 acres. So congratulations, guys. You just gained 40 acres.
Yay.
So that, just so everybody understands, that 40 acres became the districts back in the 60s when all the smaller school districts were combined into the public school district. So that's when we I guess it transferred into us. But yes, the register of deeds up in White Cloud assures me that we do own that piece of property, even though it doesn't say Grant Public Schools on it. So, but that is another 40 acres that we own. The other, Mr. Aiken, the other thing that we were surprised at, you and I were surprised at when you got the report back from the state, was the 40 acres attached to the 80 acres out on Fox Drive, that
Yeah.
120. They shared another deed with us that had the reverter language on it,
Yeah,
saying
had
that
the
it was
forest
part of.
reserve, yeah, forest
Yeah.
reserve program. So we do have up-to-date paperwork in our office now. So
Excellent.
that's solid.
Yeah.
So all of this is in the files, nice and clear, highlighted.
It's
We
in
know
the-
where it's at.
It's in the office now.
It's in the office now. Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all I've got.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Aiken? All right.
Thank you, Kev.
Kim Anderson.
I just wanted to share with you, this was something I talked about last year, that I was gonna do this financial report for you every month, where it shows how we ended our year, and I will compare month to month, so you have October of last year where we were financially with where we ended October of this year. So you can see the variance, what the adopted budget was, and what our current working budget is. I will present this to you every month in the board packet.
Think,
Last year I wanted to do that, but because of COVID money, the ESSER fund, it was irrelevant, it wasn't a true comparison, so.
Yep.
From going forward, you'll have that.
Okay. Any
The-
questions?
The expenditures are pretty accurate, the revenue is not, just because we haven't received our state aid yet, but next month, that will be corrected, so.
Okay. Yeah, I know there's some big questions about some of the revenue yet. So. Any questions for Kim? All right. Thank you, Kim. Takes us to Jamie Pressler.
Yeah, so this month has been really tightening structures and procedures, and one of the, I would say, big things to highlight would be our communication plan. From MTSS, we have our district team, we have our building teams, and those go down to our staff, right? So how does the communication go back up to, through, like, whether it's a celebration or it's a barrier? So Amanda Obanoff and Cindy Strovan and Megan Cruzan, who are my 3 district MTSS building people, we got together and built a flow chart, which I included in here. It's a good visual of how communication flows. We created an innovation, celebration, and barrier form. And every time a PLC meets, every time any content level, grade level, our district coaching meeting was today. Every time they end with this, filling out this form. And so they have to share something of a celebration of what they worked on. And if there's a problem, if there's a barrier, then they continue the form and fill that out. Each week, the building teams will look at that. Our district team will look at that. I'm obviously looking at it. We're looking for trends and needs for our district so that our resources can be allocated for things that are really necessary. So. Any questions?
Questions for Jamie?
Very thorough, thank you.
Yes,
Jamie.
it is.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your work on that, Jamie.
Yeah.
All right. Mrs. Dawson.
Good evening, board. So I attached our newsletter for this past month, and I think the main thing I just wanted to point out on there is really been trying to put some communication out to the parents to explain programs and things going on so parents can be in the know and understand things. So this past one I sent out, it really talked about Amplify and what constitutes our new reading program. And so that will be something that I think our parents will enjoy reading and enjoy knowing more about. And then one thing I'm really excited about to go along with Jamie, like as we continue to go through the MTSS process, we have our system now for collecting behavior data. And so we have our SO room at the elementary, and we still have these yellow forms at the PC and the elementary that when a student's disrupting, we're asking them the questions, they're disrupting, then they have that classroom consequence, or they have SO. And then we have our school store, and we have our drawing, and all the great things that go along with that PBIS model. Well, this past week during our MTSS meeting, we were able to bring the data to the team. We had 2 classroom teachers in there to represent the teacher population, and we were able to identify that 3 kids at the primary center and 11 kids at the elementary had more than 5 referrals. So they'd been out of class or they'd done a yellow sheet more than 5 times. So kind of like our, repeat offenders are kids that are showing that they're struggling. And so as an amazing response to that, because I always feel like we get the data, we look at it, and then we're like, now what do we do? And so we were able to set up a check-in, check-out procedure so that every kid on that list has a person that's assigned to them that's going to check in and check out with them. That's a research-based strategy to build rapport with a student and to make a connection to school and a caring adult to help them connect to school and to reduce their behavior difficulties. And so each kid now is having a check-in, check-out with the adult being mindful of a strategy they can help put in place and teach them the strategy so that they can use it independently. And then we go on 5-week cycles for the different areas with our MTSS. So behavior will come up again on that 5th cycle. We'll look at the data that we've collected newly, how many referrals do those kids continue to have, have they reduced? And then we'll be able to either continue an intervention if it's working, increase the intervention if they are still struggling, and just discontinue an intervention if they've kind of broken through and they're successful now without any more referrals, and then to be able to notice if there's anybody else that's gone into that level of 5 behavior referrals or more. So we're super excited because when we can conquer that, they're staying in class and they're also not disrupting their peers, and they're more likely to learn, and then the peer group around them is more likely to learn. So yeah, excited. Happy to answer any questions if you have any.
All right. Any questions for Mrs. Dawson?
Well done.
Thank you, Ms. Dawson.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Jones?
You have my board report in front of you there as well. Pretty straightforward. The biggest thing is we have our conferences coming up in the next 2 nights. Scheduled ones on tomorrow night, each grade level, picking about 12 families to come in and talk. And then on Wednesday, it's open for everybody. To get more people in, we're doing a hot dog dinner, doing that, just to get people in here. And that's the most important thing, the communication aspect of it. And this year, I'm proud of my staff for making those phone calls. I mean, it seems like more communication than ever. I always compare it to 5 years ago when I left. The communication has doubled, I swear, from then to now. And the expectations and the teachers have stepped up to the plate. And then the MTSS side of it, looking at data, the staff, they want to get better. They want to see our scores keep improving. At our last MTSS, we were talking about what kids are close to passing the M-step. So we're looking at that middle, get them over the hump. Because once you get a little success, that taste of success, success builds success. So we're just continually doing those little things to make a big difference. And then the other thing is Corewell Health is come in. They already came into our 7th grade classroom doing some presentations on marijuana, vaping, tobacco, that type of thing, just to help keep our kids safe and make good decisions.
Right.
Have you, have you sat in on one of their classes before? Well,
Part of it, in and out. I plan on getting in there for a 5th grade is coming up, as I missed the 7th grade. It was just one of those days that you want to, and you get pulled in 3 different directions.
Yeah.
So I can't say I've seen the whole thing, no, but
obviously, I'm counting on, they're just saying total abstinence, total non-usage.
Oh,
Is that what
correct.
they're after?
Correct. The vaping, they're showing the harmful effects of all of these things on the human body.
Okay.
Yes.
Not good at all.
No,
way.
I don't think there's many things they could say positively about any of those, especially for a
Yeah,
youngster.
not so much.
Right.
So,
Just for reference, I deal with construction, and I've had to ban vaping altogether. And I did not realize it until this past summer, because I found some marijuana sticks on the job site, and I did my research, not realizing that you can buy marijuana for vaping too.
oh,
Yep.
yeah.
So therefore, if I have guys vaping on the job site, have no idea what, what's going on. And it's almost like a pacifier. I mean, these guys, it's worse than a cell phone. They just walk around with it in their hand and
Can't even tell.
can't tell.
That's right.
Because it's also being covered with flavors.
Mm-hmm.
You might think that you're smelling tutti frutti, and you're getting a little high on that. And it's very
Scary
dangerous,
stuff.
very
Scary
dangerous. Out in businesses and job sites.
Well,
so.
shoot, I was talking to a fellow administrator in the Grand Rapids area, 3rd graders. I mean, it's hitting all grades right now. So, I mean, the earlier we can give these type of programs, that information out there.
Yeah, and especially the ones that they're coming in from China and they can be laced with fentanyl or whatever, and you're
It's
done,
terrifying.
you know? So thanks for the emphasis
You got
on
it.
this. I mean, we have these crazy stores right in town and everything. I mean, they think it's okay, and it's not. Yeah. So thanks for doing it.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Mr. Jones? All right. So it takes us to Mr. Delmatter.
You have mine in front of you as well. A lot of stuff there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Very thorough.
Yeah.
Boom, got it.
Yep. Just trying to make
Good
sure,
job.
basically what I'm doing right now is I'm taking stuff
Half
out
the
of
book is you.
This could be a
s'mores.
binder on its own.
It is. It's okay.
Yeah, taking stuff
Well-
out of the s'mores and then adding that stuff in there for you so you guys can see stuff that has been brought up or stuff that is important for us. And stuff that you might be getting questions asked about.
Mhm.
Right.
So first of all, Shelby Troy came and made some public comments about the need for mental health stuff. And I wanted to, because I think somebody had asked the question about what are we doing in regards to that stuff. So I wanted to put some information in there for you. We have a counseling corner in this more that we're making sure that we're hitting stuff. I think this weekend I put in suicide awareness, something in there
Yep.
for that for parents. We have not had an SEL program at the high school, so we are piloting one right now. Be Good People is what it's called. Just put some information in what SEL is for people in the community and for you guys to see. Weight room updates. Most of our stuff is now here. I think all of our stuff is actually here, but Mr. Ryder and I have not had time to double check that stuff right now. But when you walk in there now, it actually looks like a weight room. We got some very nice equipment that's there. It's, I applaud you guys for approving it to be quality equipment because this stuff is going to be around for a while. It's very,
Good.
very good equipment. Just there's still a lot of stuff at the high school that we're trying to make sure that we organize. And one of those things was the lunchroom, so I wanted you to see an update on that. If you've been there during lunch, you know the chaos that the gymnasium is.
Right.
And so we've worked on some things. It's actually gone just what a lot better since we've done that. Math intervention update. So we have roughly 60 kids who are in a math intervention right now, and they qualify for their intervention based on their PSAT scores, their NWEA score, or their grades in class right now. And we have found that most of our kids are admitting that they are not trying hard on their math testing or their PSAT scores. They don't want to be in math intervention, so we have little character to go over them for that right now. And then the Jostens event that we went to, so we have never attended this before. It's a culture and climate event that's in Howell, that was in Howell this year. It was really, really good for our kids. We took 17 kids, and those kids now are going to be my student building improvement team. And we met last Friday and talked through some stuff, and they were super excited about what they're going to be able to do. I also gave you a report from Jennifer Daly on the status of our intervention program right now. So go ahead and look through that. One of the things that she has been told multiple times, it's the first time in years that anyone from Grant High School has set foot onto their property in terms of intervention. Very help me out here. It's been a long day.
Internship, yes.
Okay. And then the other thing is the FAFSA challenge information that's on here. We have an opportunity to get some money to help us with the FAFSA program. It's $27,500 that we can use to help make sure that we're getting kids to fill out FAFSA. The important thing I want you guys to know is this is not just for college. A lot of trades also use financial aid, and this is an opportunity for our kids to be able to get some of that to go through trade programs as well.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep. Any questions?
So on the FAFSA, is that money they pay back?
So
Is that-
FAFSA can be anything. It's basically just sending information in to see you qualify for whatever that is. My kids didn't qualify for anything, but other kids will qualify for stuff. You don't know unless you fill that out.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd like to make a suggestion. If they are awarded FAFSA where it's a payback, I think it would be great if we would sit these kids down and really explain to them what it's really gonna cost over the long term, so they don't find themselves so far in debt after 4 years. We as adults have not done our children any service by allowing them to go so far in debt just because it's a college education. Because it's not free money, it's not 4% interest, it's not 6% interest. You know, it's 150, sometimes 200% interest by the time they pay it back. And I think reality, if there is some way that we could tie that, I'm just brainstorming with you, that somehow, at least they were told.
I think that we're seeing the opposite of that now. I think kids are afraid to do anything like this because of that reason.
Yeah.
And there is, I mean, a kid in our county right now could basically get their entire schooling paid for by going to MCC for X amount of time, transferring to
Yep.
Ferris, and basically walking out debt free.
Yep.
And they are not aware of that right now. So that's something that we have to make sure that we're communicating with those kids.
Sure. Okay.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Delmatter?
Thank you, Josh.
All right. Mr. McKnight?
Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
I'd like to start my report off with the National Honor Society. This blood drive for this month is on the 24th of November. And then also later that night, we will also be inducting new members of NHS. That's going to boost our numbers to more than double, as we are getting we have at least 18 possible applicants. Applications are due by Friday, so like it could be less than 18, but probably still around that range. 16 of them being juniors, so we're gonna have a pretty big class after 26 is done. Yeah, that's just gonna help us do more things with NHS, so we're gonna have more opportunities for students to get community service hours and also help out the community in general. So we're gonna get plenty of more students to help out with that. With athletics, the volleyball team won in the first round against Tri-County in 3 straight sets. The scores are listed. And then they also won in the second round against Sparta in 4 sets. And at the time of writing this, they did not play Fremont, but they unfortunately fell short to Fremont. But it was still a really good effort by them. So props to the volleyball team. And then the band got 2nd place and was so close to getting to being back-to-back state
Hurrah.
champions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's our instructor's 2nd year. So, I mean, it's pretty good. We're turning the marching band around. High school basketball is starting shortly. I believe the first game is mid to late November. And that's always exciting. If you ever get a chance to come out to a home game, just watch the energy that the stadium that we bring, the student section, and also just the players in general. It gets pretty crazy in there, and we're all looking forward to it. For events around the other schools, bookstore sale, and for the elementary is today to Friday from 4 to 7 p.m. So if you have anyone that wants to interested in book sales, that is up there for options. And the middle school basketball games have started today. This is their first game of this season for them, so good luck to them. And then youth basketball camp starts in December 6th, so a little less than a month from now. And then the fees are $40 per student. Also, another thing for athletics that I did not mention was all conference players got announced, and pictures will be Friday.
Nice. Any questions for Mr. McKnight?
What grades are youth basketball?
What grades? Yeah, I think it's around like 3rd through 6th for those grades.
Okay.
Just late elementary, early middle school from that time.
Okay.
So, Evan, just out of curiosity, you mentioned National Honor Society.
Yeah.
Is there any connection between the high school National Honor Society with the middle school National Honor Society?
I don't know, does middle school have a National Honor Society?
Just starting.
Okay, so that's.
Just started, yeah.
That's brand new, and I didn't know that, but that's really cool, because that also, gets them engaged in National Honor Society, and by the time they get into high school, they might be interested in that.
Right.
As you know, for high school, it is upperclassmen, so juniors and seniors. But if they get that exposure at a young age, like in middle school, they are definitely going to want to do that. It's the same thing with student government in middle school. You know, when they get that exposure to student government in middle school, they tend to want to do it in high school.
Yep.
So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Evan.
Good job, Evan. All
Can I
right.
add one more thing?
Sure.
Yeah, Evan made me think of this, but super excited. This is the first time, and I can't remember when, that I put out the request to Josh to see if we could get some high school volunteers to help with childcare at conferences. And normally I have to have our Explore teachers cover it because we don't really have any help and we need to provide the child care. And I had 12 kids, and I asked Josh to close the document because I'm like, I can't take it anymore. It's super exciting that the kids are going to be over to take care of that the Explore teachers can showcase their work that they're doing, and that connection is there. And it's in part, it is because Josh has reinstilled that requirement that they do some community service.
Nope, it is.
Yep.
It's a big
Super
deal.
excited
It really
about
is.
that, so.
Yep.
Yay.
That's awesome.
Excellent.
Thank
Good
you, Ms.
job.
Dawson. Thank you, Josh.
And then Joe Malone is really doing a nice job with the NJHS. He's
Yeah.
getting that started, and he's brought in some new ideas the last few years, which has
Yeah.
really been beneficial for our
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if there was any connection between middle
There,
school.
there
and
will be, not a whole lot yet, but there will be a little bit more of
Okay.
that back and forth.
Okay,
So,
nice. All right, that takes us down to number 5, consent agenda. If I could get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
All right, I'm going to give that one to Danette. And Sabrina, I'll give you the support on that one. That works. All right, any discussion on the consent agenda? Look, we got another donation for the football program. That's pretty cool. And we've got a few hires. It looks like we got a couple people that are coming back, Mr. Aiken.
Oh, we've got a couple. We're fortunate to have them.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. All right. All right. Anything else on the consent agenda? All right. Well, I guess I'd like to say, welcome back to those that we're hiring in. And good luck to our special ed teacher that is leaving us.
Yep. She came back and helped us out in a tough spot. and
Absolutely.
She wants to stay retired.
Yeah.
Darn it. Well, guess you can't force some things, right?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Lucky number 3.
If there are no questions or comments about the consent agenda or discussion on it, I'll take a vote. Jason?
Yeah.
Mr. Vance?
Yay.
Mr. Fish?
Aye.
Danette? Rachel?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes. Thank you. All right. So that takes us down to unfinished business. Mr. Aiken, do you have anything for unfinished business at this point?
Not today.
Okay, so we will move on from unfinished business to action items. So the first item is recommendation to approve the general fund summary. If I can get a motion and support on that, please.
So moved.
Okay, I heard Rachel give me a motion on that, and Mr. Fish, you said support on that? All right, thank you. All right, any discussion or questions about the general fund summary for this month?
Okay, the Board of Education is being asked to approve the general fund summary as submitted.
Anything on the general fund summary? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Vance?
Yay.
Rachel?
Aye.
Mr. Fish?
Aye.
Jason?
Yay.
Danette?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. All right, thank you. Motion passes. Takes us to approval of the first reading of the board policy on behavior threat assessment and management teams. If I can get a motion on that, please.
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion by Sabrina and support by Mr. Vance. Mr. Aiken?
Yeah, this is the board policy that is outlining and detailing the behavioral threat assessment and management teams. It's got to be approved by October 1st, 2026. It's going to be mandated and required by then. So this is the first reading of that policy.
All right, so, we didn't take the motion in any specific way, but I will, I will open it up to the board to amend the motion to waive the reading if they choose.
So moved.
Okay, so Mr. Vance makes the motion to waive the reading with Danette supporting, and let's see. Just so we don't have to sit here and read the whole thing. Any discussion on the motion to amend the previous motion to waive the reading? All right, I'll take a roll call on that quick. Rachel?
Aye.
Mr. Vance?
Yay.
Danette?
Aye.
Jason? Mr. Fish?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so that motion passes, and we're back to the main motion to approve the board policy on behavior threat assessment and management teams while waiving the reading. Is there any discussion about the policy as it's presented? Okay, hearing none. I'm sorry, Rachel, did you have something?
Nope.
Okay.
Good, thanks.
I just, to clarify,
Yep.
we're not approving it, we're approving the first reading, assuming that we're all reading this,
First reading, the next,
correct?
the
Policy,
next,
but I think
Yep.
you said the policy, we're approving the policy and we are not.
sorry, yes, if I said that, we are approving the first reading of the policy. So we would have a second reading and an approval vote at the next meeting. All right. Any other discussion or questions on this one? Thank you for that clarification, by the way. All right, Jason?
Yay.
Danette?
Aye.
Mr. Vance?
Yay.
Rachel?
Aye.
Mr. Fish?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. All right, motion passes. First reading is adopted. The next item that we have is approval of the first reading of the board policy, universal FAFSA challenge policy. And I will ask the board if you want to make the motion to approve and waive the first reading, you can make the motion that way, and I will document it that way. Do I have a motion? To approve and waive. You want to make that motion? And that's to approve the first reading while waiving it, right? Okay, so.
Support.
Sorry, just want to make sure that I write it down correctly. All right, so I heard Danette make the motion to approve and waive the first reading with Sabrina offering support on that.
Yes.
Mr. Aiken?
Okay, this memo was written to request the board approve the first reading of the Universal FAFSA Challenge Policy.
All right. Do we have any comments, questions on this one? Okay, hearing none. Rachel,
Aye.
Sabrina,
Aye.
Danette, Jason, Mr. Fish.
Aye.
And Mr. Vance.
Yay.
And I am an aye. All right. Motion passes. All right, so that takes us down to number 4, which is approval of ad hoc committee recommendation to sell 3 Commerce Street lots. Mr. Aiken?
Yeah, the board is being asked to approve the attached recommendation from the Building Consolidation Ad Hoc Committee to sell the 3 lots on Commerce Street.
All right. Do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Support.
I have a motion by Sabrina, support by Rachel. Any discussion on this one?
Yeah, Ken, could you just give a brief summary of what this would be? Just,
So this, yeah, if you want to
I
read it.
don't mind.
If you want to read it, that's fine.
I can read it.
That's fine.
All right. Grant Public Schools Building Consolidation 80, or Ad Hoc Committee recommendation to the Board of Education. Subject, recommendation to sell 3 Commerce Street lots. The Building Consolidation Ad Hoc Committee has completed its review of district-owned properties, including the 3 surveyed parcels located on Commerce Street. After careful consideration of current and future facility needs, maintenance costs, and potential revenue opportunities, the committee recommends that the Board of Education authorize the sale of the 3 Commerce Street lots. Rationale: 1, no current or future educational use has been identified. The properties on Commerce Street are not part of any current facility plan or projected educational program needs. 2, financial benefit to the district. The sale of these parcels will generate revenue that can be used to support capital improvements, deferred maintenance, or other district priorities. 3, reduced maintenance and liability costs. Disposing of unused property will eliminate ongoing costs related to upkeep, insurance, and property management. 4, supports long-term facilities planning. The recommendation aligns with the committee's goal of optimizing district assets and focusing resources on active instructional facilities. Recommendation: the Building Consolidation Ad Hoc Committee recommends that the Grant Public Schools Board of Education approve the sale of the 3 Commerce Street parcels and direct the superintendent or designee to begin the process of listing the properties for sale in accordance with board policy and applicable state laws.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Mhm.
So, just so everybody's aware, these are, this has been an open lot on the back side of the primary center playground. Butts up against the ball field right there in the corner. And just with our conversations, I know I haven't, nobody's ever brought anything to my attention that we would need to expand a playground in that direction. Matter of fact, we shrunk that playground, was it 2 years ago? Is that about right? And I know it's one of the things that we do struggle with in the area is housing. And, there is the opportunity that they may build some houses on that lot or on those lots. And I think that not only helps the area, but it helps the district, so. I don't know what it's zoned as. Do you, Mr. Aiken?
Residential.
Residential, okay. I would have anticipated that, but I didn't want to speak to it, so, okay. Any questions or further discussion on this item?
So we'll just put it up for like, auction or?
Yeah, it's got to,
bids,
well,
right?
we're going to have to determine, it's got to go up for auction. It's either be closed or an open. But you guys, at that point, will have to determine how you want to do that, or you direct me what you want to do with it, but it's got to be done through auction. We can't just sell it outright.
Right. Right.
You can't, you wouldn't hire a listing agent?
No. We're not, I don't think we're going to need to.
there is interest in that property already.
Correct.
That is for sure. But we can't just sell it outright to anybody. We have to put it out and let people bid on it, so.
Correct.
Yep, yep.
And we're, any revenue we get from equipment, basically, and we talked about capital.
Correct. It'll go into capital improvements. Yep.
There's no way we can use it for any building
I-
project.
Well, I think we're gonna go the route of the board would have to approve that.
That was the advice from the auditor, was that the board would make a motion to put it into like a capital projects, and the money is marked for that. So anything that is spent out of there would need board action if it wasn't for a capital project.
So this was a question that, here a few months ago, I did form an ad hoc committee and asked, and we got, really good, turnout as far as, community members being part of that. And they looked at this as well, and, this is their recommendation, or the committee's recommendation. And just so everybody is fully aware, yes, there were board members on the committee. The board members did not share a vote on any of this stuff. So we shared in discussion, but we did not share a vote at all. So, this is truly one of those things that I think we've got to seriously consider, especially with some of these bills that we have coming due. So, and the fact that the property just sits there now and isn't benefiting us at all. So,
You know how much acreage that is?
how much, it's 3 city lots. It was,
Just 3 city lots.
yes, it is 3 city lots.
Not much.
Yep. Yep, that's what it's been, surveyed as, is 3 city lots, so.
Honestly, like you said, Ken, we do have a pretty good group of community members that make up this ad hoc committee that have been sincerely putting a lot of effort into the thought process that goes behind all of this, and I know that none of the decisions came easy to make, but it came with a lot of thought, and they know their community as well, and what it isn't doing for our students, and I trust that the committee came to the best decision.
Okay. Any other questions about this item? All right, I will call for a vote. Sabrina?
Aye.
Jason?
Yeah.
Mr. Vance?
Yay.
Mr. Fish?
Aye.
Danette?
Aye.
Rachel?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes. All right, thank you. All right, takes us down to recommendation to approve the revised resolution for the release of reverter. Let me get switched over here so I can document what I'm doing. All right, if I can get a motion on this, please.
So moved.
Support.
So I have a motion by Sabrina, support by Rachel. Mr. Aiken.
Yeah, the board is being asked to approve the resolution for release of reverter option. This attached resolution is the revised edition of the resolution that was passed in August 2025. It was brought to our attention by the DNR that the property on the resolution has an adjoining 40 acres that wasn't included in the original resolution. The attached resolution has been revised to include the original 80 acres and the additional attached 40 acres. I am requesting that the board approve the resolution for release of reverter option so that it can be submitted to the Department of Natural Resources.
All right. So, before I ask for any comments or discussion on this, just so everybody is fully aware of what this is talking about, this is we've been discussing it as the 120 acres out along Fox Drive, where we had two titles, two deeds, one for 80 acres and one for 40 acres. And this is where the DNR came back to us and said, hey, the 40 acres has got the reverter language on it as well. So if you want it removed from all of that property, you got to resubmit. So is that
That is
accurate?
correct.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure that we discussed that this is not dealing with the 40 acres that we just found out about that we own. So
So that'll come later.
that would have to come later. Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Got it.
All right, so we have motion and support. Is there any discussion on this item? I guess just for clarification, the reverter on this is again stating that it's to be used for school forestry. So we can't do anything else with it unless the reverter is removed. Okay? All right. Discussion, questions, concerns? All right, I will call for a vote on this one. Danette?
Aye.
Mr. Fish?
Aye.
Mr. Vance?
Yay.
Jason?
Yay.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Rachel?
Aye.
And I am an aye. All right, motion passes. And it looks like that's something that I gotta sign afterwards? Is that something that needs my signature? No? Okay. All right. Just didn't wanna lose that if it were the case. All right, so that takes us down to number 6, and that is a recommendation to accept the ad hoc committee proposal on building utilization and grade realignment. If I can get a motion there, please.
So moved. Second.
All right, so Sabrina, I'll give that one to you, and Mr. Vance, I heard you give the second on that. Mr. Ake.
Yeah, the board is being asked to accept the Building Consolidation Ad Hoc Committee's proposal on building utilization and grade realignment. The superintendent, I'm recommending that the board accept the proposal from the Building Consolidation Ad Hoc Committee.
All right. So with that, Mr. Aiken, do you want to just give a rundown of this recommendation, or? do you wanna
Well,
have-
I mean, well, you want to just read it for them?
Well, that, we can have, if Sabrina wants to read it, she can read it, but, you want to read it? Go ahead.
Okay. Recommendation from the Building Consolidation Ad Hoc Committee. Grant Public Schools Board of Education, subject building utilization and grade realignment proposal. After careful review of district facilities, enrollment trends, and operational considerations, the Building Consolidation Ad Hoc Committee recommends the following building utilization and grade realignment plan. 1, repurpose the primary center. The committee recommends that the primary center be decommissioned as an instructional facility and its functions be relocated to existing district buildings. We will look to utilize the primary center for other purposes other than an educational facility. 2, realign the remaining 3 school buildings as follows. Current elementary school to house preschool, daycare, and grades K through 2. Current high school to be repurposed as the upper elementary school serving grades 3 through 6. Current middle school to serve as a secondary campus housing grades 7 through 12. This configuration is intended to maximize facility efficiency, maintain educational continuity, and provide long-term cost savings while continuing to meet the needs of Grant Public Schools students and families.
All right. Thank you, Sabrina. And just for clarity, I want to point out that this is a recommendation to accept their proposal, not to approve it. So we have the option tonight to accept the approval, or the proposal. I think I might have said accept the approval, accept the proposal, or ask the ad hoc committee to go back and look further at it. Okay, so that is what we would be doing tonight. So we are not actually approving this, we're just accepting it as their recommendation. If we accept it tonight as their recommendation, it will be on next month's agenda for our approval. And after our approval, if that were to happen next month, that's when Mr. Aiken and the admin staff would really start putting some of these plans, some of the things that they've been looking at into play to start getting ready for that type of consolidation. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear, that we were not approving anything tonight on this. We're just accepting or rejecting the recommendation of the ad hoc committee.
Is it possible to let people know how many people were on this committee and what the breakdown was? How many were staff, how many were community?
Kevin, do you?
Yeah, we've
You
got
have
a
that?
Yeah, we've got a list. I mean, I don't have it with me right now, but yeah, can I pull it up? And we've got, yeah.
I mean, there was, I don't know, five or six community members, I
We
think.
had 7 community members.
7?
Yep, 7 community members, and the
Yep.
rest were made up of teachers, administrators, and,
Right.
and the 3 board members.
And I know that when I first formed this ad hoc committee, Kevin and I had talked about it, and we said, hey, we'll take the first 5 folks that said that they wanted to be part of it. We didn't turn anybody down. If somebody said
No.
that they wanted to be part of it, they were welcome to be part of it. So, and we had some staff members pop in and just share thoughts and then pop back out, and that was fine too, so.
No, I think we had a very nice cross-section, a lot of different opinions and, beliefs on this, and I think everybody worked pretty hard on it and sharing their ideas.
Yeah, there were some very thoughtful questions as this was being put together. So,
Yeah, and I mean, we've got 2 community forums, town hall meetings scheduled on the 17th and the 25th to get feedback from the community as a whole, to help you guys before you vote on it in December. I mean, we want to hear from other people other than just, the ad hoc committee and us. We want to get this right. This
Did
is,
you get it, Jamie? Because I have it, you got it pulled up?
5.
Okay.
5 community members.
oh, okay.
There were others that were coming, though, this was
Yeah.
just our last meeting.
Oh, okay, thank you.
What was the other question?
Staff.
Staff? Staff. Staff members. Some of those being not included in the community. I live in this community and stuff, right? Don't think so. And then what was the other one? Board members?
Was it all the admin and then, all the admin, and then, how many board members?
Board members, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. I think that's a good thing for people to be informed of.
Yeah, yeah.
So a total of 19.
And the community members that attended, or for most of the meetings, well, how many meetings for total did you guys have?
So far, we've had 4. They're,
4.
they're every other Wednesday.
Yep.
So
Okay.
first one was the big, hey, let's think about this, and then they came back the other bi-weekly meeting with some big thoughts.
The community members, did all of them have kids in the district? Were they?
Nope, not all of them.
Past,
All the above. I mean, we
Okay.
had some that
Yeah, it's a
have
good
had
mixture.
kids,
We've
some
got
with kids, and some
grandparents.
without
Okay.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty good cross section.
Okay.
So, after several months of study, it says, somebody did some financial analysis. This would probably cost us something to make this happen.
Well, it's going to cost. I mean, with this format, we're going to have to build a playground at the high school. Outside of that, there's not a whole lot of expenses, other than when you shut a building down, you're going to save roughly $450,000 just closing that building.
So one thing that I'll share, Kevin did, Kevin's been having, meetings with staff, just so the staff is aware of what is being discussed, because, if there isn't a lot of information, people will make up, whatever it is that they think, but, one of the things that Kevin threw out that I actually I kind of sat up a little bit when he said it, was I want this done in 4 weeks, right? So, actually moving buildings in 4 weeks, that is a heavy haul. So, to talk to your point, is that, we're not gonna ask our staff to move everything between buildings. It's, pack up your room and we're gonna have a logistics company would be here to move it. And even out of those meetings, there were some things that I wasn't aware of. One thing that was mentioned at one at the high school, that I just popped in on was, hey, science labs, may need, specific, permits to move chemicals between buildings. That's not anything that I would have thought of. It's not anything that necessarily anybody on this ad hoc committee might have thought of, so, the thing I think that, that everybody has probably heard to this point is, Kevin's been thinking about this. When this ad hoc committee first came together for the first meeting, there was an outline of a plan that was presented to the ad hoc committee and said, let's think of this. This is what I'm thinking. And I think that plan changed a couple times during those meetings because
Multiple times.
there were different scenarios that were presented, and that led to, hey, if we, because one of them was if we put the younger kids instead of at the high school, if we put them at the middle school, then that opens up that we've got some code things that we've got to deal with. And that's additional construction and that type of stuff, but we don't have that same condition if we put them at the high school, ironically enough. There has been a ton of thought into it. I know Kevin's been thinking about this for a while. It's been a conversation that he and I have been having for a while. Kim is dug into some of these financials, Rick, that you're looking at, to say, hey, what's this gonna potentially cost us to shut this building down? What's it gonna save us? And just as a reminder to everybody, we've got over a 20-year trend history of student enrollment going down in the district. I know when I put the stuff together a couple years ago, I had about 2.5% reduction per year in student body. And, going back 20 years, there were 5 buildings in this district.
Correct.
Right? So, this isn't the first time that this district's had this type of a conversation, right? So, but, that's just part of the conversations that have happened, but this was all proposed to and presented to this ad hoc committee, and they had some very, very good, thoughtful conversations and concerns that they brought back even, so, one of the concerns that they brought back was, having, 7th graders with seniors, and how do we deal with that, right? And so, that has driven some conversations around how do we separate those grade levels, right? So, I think the important thing to note is that, we don't have all the details figured out yet. It's just, do we want to accept this and move forward with this type of thought? And, get a formal plan together so that we can consider that at next month's meeting. Okay?
Kev, I just want to clarify that was 400,000 per year.
Per year.
Thank you.
Do you have a tentative, does the committee have a tentative date that they're looking at wanting to do this move? Because I know that I've had students come to me and go, are we coming back from Christmas break and we're having to move
No,
schools?
no.
So,
No.
to ease.
It would be before next August.
Okay.
Yes, we're not gonna be
Panic
that, we're not gonna be
students,
that creative over Christmas break.
It would be
Just wanted to clarify.
Yes, it would
Okay.
be for next year.
Okay.
come back from Christmas break and good luck finding your class,
Right.
right?
It'd be interesting. No.
Shoot the school year.
Well, and I know that, those are some of the questions that come up, right? If people don't know, so.
You know, Kevin, just a point of reference, the decline in enrollment is also a statewide situation.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's also a national trend, correct?
Yes.
And I just want to add, we had talked about this, and I mentioned this, that, like the LA school district, with all the migration that we've had, the immigration, and usually when we talk about the Hispanic community moving through, we talk about a lot of children, larger families. Surprisingly, LA school district is consolidating buildings. Their enrollment is declining. So in spite of what we're talking about with immigration, in that we're talking about large school districts and small school districts happen to do the same thing. So this isn't just a Grant School District situation. There are some school districts, they're more in a suburbia area where there a lot of housing going up. That's a different story. But as a whole, public education, public schools, enrollment is continually declining.
Kevin, could you just speak to real quick the reason why we would want to repurpose the primary center rather than just shut the doors?
Well, if you just shut the doors after 2 years, if we ever were to use it again, we wouldn't be able to because we wouldn't meet code. You got a 2-year window there. If it's not in use for any purpose, it's pretty much obsolete. You're gonna have to spend a lot of money to get the building back up to the current codes.
So it doesn't have to be used for education, it
Nope.
just has to be in use,
Correct.
right? Okay. All right. Any other discussion, concerns, questions about accepting the recommendation? All right, hearing none. This is on accepting the recommendation. Mr. Fish?
I would say aye.
Rachel?
Aye.
Mr. Vance?
Yay.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Jason?
Yay.
Danette?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes. Thank you. When we get down into discussion items, I do want to touch base on that ad hoc committee a little bit more.
Yep.
I'm going to ask them to do a little bit more work for us, so. Okay. All right, so that takes us down to number 7, and that is approval of letter of agreement around seniority for non-certified teaching staff. If I can get a motion on that, please.
So moved.
Support.
So I have a motion by Sabrina and support by Rachel. Mr. Aiken?
Yeah, the Board of Education is being asked to approve the letter of agreement as provided between Grant Public Schools and Grant Education Association to address the seniority for non-certified teaching staff. It is recommended by the superintendent to approve the following letter of agreement.
All right, do we have any questions or comments on this letter of agreement?
So what it comes down to is that there will be no seniority started for them till they actually have their certification.
Become certified, you start gaining seniority,
Mhm.
yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, how many teachers would you say that we have that are on temporary certification now?
Yeah, what's the exact number? 9, probably. 9, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay,
A few.
a few. Okay. Well. All right. Anything else here? Okay, hearing nothing. Danette?
Aye.
Rich?
Yay.
Jason?
Yay.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Mr. Fish? Rachel?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. All right, motion passes.
That's the paper that you.
That's one that I'll probably have to sign. Yep, you're right. All right, so that takes us down to discussion items. And Section 31AA funds. Mr. Aiken?
Well, right now, they've extended the 31AA window till the 30th of November. Basically, that means schools have until November 30th to either accept the money or decline it. Right now, I would say today, I'd say about 70% of the districts in the state are going to decline the money as is. There's litigation going on, ongoing litigation, to get rid of some of the language in the 31AA acceptance. Basically, if we do accept the money, we would have to waive attorney-client privilege for us to be eligible for that. And that's, you know, the wording, the threshold for what a mass casualty event is, are all really under scrutiny right now. A lot of the districts feel that it's going to put us in a disadvantage if we take the money with those contingencies attached to it. So that's what we have right now. We're monitoring that, waiting to see what the final outcome is going to be.
Yeah, one of the things that's really made me kind of take notice is I think there's been 2, maybe 3 bus accidents, not with Grant, but with other districts in the surrounding area. And the language that is in there, that would potentially be considered a mass casualty event,
Correct.
right? And
They've got a very low threshold.
yes, absolutely. And, you know, this is a pretty big stick being attached to not necessarily a whole lot of money.
Well, yeah,
Well,
I mean.
there's a lot of money out there, but not necessarily a lot of money promised to us. So,
180,000.
yeah. Yeah, so it's, this is something that, I know, Kevin, you did, receive a,
Legal opinion
yes,
from our
thank
attorneys?
you, a
Yeah,
legal
yes, I
opinion
have,
on
yes.
it. So, board members, if you want to view that legal opinion, please go into the admin building and take a look at that. It's, we're suspicious, we'll just put it that way, okay? Anything else on that one?
No, just wait and see what happens.
When's the current due date?
Well, it was the 16th, now it's been moved back to the 30th.
To the 30th?
Yeah.
Okay. So, just, I guess, just to put it out there for you guys, if this is something that, you know, we want to consider, and it is, at the end of the month, that would require a special board meeting that, we would have to call to come back and just consider that. But we do want to get a little more information.
Yeah, I
on
mean,
that
we've got to
before.
let it play out
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
see what the MD and the state comes up with.
yep,
I think it's important, we do have to look at it again, I mean, because we have till the 30th. Obviously, the state has a deadline on the 1st that they've got to pass some things, but
right.
basically, if the lawsuits go through and they change some of the language, it's something we definitely want to look at, but
Yes.
as
Yeah.
it sits right now, it's definitely, it's not even something we can consider because it's constitutionally not right, so.
It opens us up for liability. I mean, they're going to be able to come in here and basically we won't be able to have an attorney represent us.
And we waive, you know, the way it's written, we waive attorney privilege rights for all teachers, everyone. involved,
Everybody.
And that's,
Yeah, we can't do that.
by the federal constitution, that's the legal limit, so there's a lot that has to be
Yeah,
settled.
it doesn't just open me up or you guys up, it opens up our entire staff.
Right. Right. Right.
And if we approve it, we relinquish their rights, which.
Yeah, the verbiage is very, very suspicious.
Right. Correct.
Yep. Does anyone else have anything for discussion item? I do have a couple things. Okay. All right. So, one, I mentioned that I wanted to discuss the ad hoc committee. I would like to ask the ad hoc committee to stay convened and consider the question around the district properties, the other district properties that we have, and how can we best use them to benefit the district, okay? So the Walnut property, you know, we've had conversation, we've got some intent, I think, to still move the, potentially move the cross-country track out to that property, which I think would be a really cool thing to be able to do. But we've got these other properties, you know, let's really think about those, including the school farm. We've got a young lady that's really wants to get a school farm going again. She's got a lot of passion, and I don't think I don't have any reason to say we don't want to do that. It's just how do we do it, right? So I guess I would like to ask the ad hoc committee to continue, if they would, to consider that. And if we have other community members that want to participate in that, welcome, right?
Yep.
I mean, we had at the beginning, we had the land use committee where there was a bunch of people on it.
We got a few folks to show up. We didn't get anything out of it, to be very honest. So, there was, you know, I guess the only real comment that we got was, out when we were talking about, the school farm property, and we were talking about the north portion of the school farm, you know, the wet area. The only comment that I got from anybody during that was, can we sell it? That was it. So there was no, how can we actually use that to benefit our district? So I guess I would like to ask this group to take up that same question if they would. Next month, just as a reminder to the board, we'll have a board workshop before the meeting. And Marshall will be here to conduct that board workshop. And next month being December, that is the month that we will be doing Mr. Aiken's evaluation. So I will be sending the evaluation tool out to everyone. And Kevin will be sharing his articles to consider during that evaluation. We have, in the past, we have had a facilitator come in and facilitate that evaluation. That does cost us a little bit of money. But I've asked, Kevin and I have talked about it. I'm going to facilitate the evaluation. And as a result, I'm going to ask Sabrina to actually run the December meeting. So that just kind of separates that from the meeting. So just be aware of that if you would. Okay?
Will that be a 5 o'clock start?
That will be a 5 o'clock start, yes. Yep. So, and that will be sent out, as, it'll be a separate meeting, but, it'll be listed as a board workshop, so, okay? Anything else for discussion? Admin, anything? Kim, Mr. Aiken? Anything?
Nope, we're good.
Okay. All right, then I will take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Support.
Let's go home.
Everybody. All right, so all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Meeting adjourned at 7:53.